How's everybody doing tonight? So, there was a show yesterday, but if you didn't see it live, it's now marked private. You're not going to see it unless it gets, parts of it get put into a remix. So, what happened yesterday? The main thing, it is going to help this project. So, sorry, that was my speaker. So, the main thing that happened yesterday was this booklet was scanned. I actually scanned it in very high quality, but it's like too high quality to load quickly unless I do it page by page. But as a single PDF, I compressed it and basically we have it now. Oh, that's another thing. That's not it. What's here, what's on this camera is another oddity of this ROKR 3D pinball puzzle. It's huge. I mean, it's a humongous puzzle. And, for example, these sheets that are on the table, these are half-size boards. These are half-size boards. These are quarter-size boards. These are eighth-size boards. So there's the different, sizes. That's a half-size board. On a normal puzzle, that'd be a full-size board, but on this puzzle, that's a half-size board. And you could see the full-size boards here. So I have this box off to my left, and there's a lot of junk in there. You'll see as the show goes on. But what I went to that camera for was to show you the iPad. So here's the scanning. I actually scanned it higher. This is like 10% quality of what I actually scanned. But it just loads nice for live streaming. But I actually have a better version, which I'm going to post to the blog. So now we can finally see what we're doing and zoom in. Of course, it looks terrible when you zoom in because this is the 10% quality version. But I'll have on the website the full version. So we can get started now. We made progress on this puzzle yesterday in the sense that we scanned it. We didn't make progress actually building the puzzle, but we're going to do that today. So we might need this book. I don't know. I'm going to kind of put it over here for a while. And I also scanned this parts list. That's actually the last 2 pages in the PDF are the parts list. So let's see. It says page 5, piece 19. So if we take a look here, we can find page 5. That's page 4. That's page 5. So there we go. There's page 5. Now, if you remember, there's a really cool thing about this booklet. It shows you on the side what pieces you need. So the top, this page 5 is in 2 segments. So the top segment requires 2 pieces, I13 times 2, and then the bottom segment requires many more pieces. I guess we'll figure that out in a minute. But for now, let's just get started on the first one. So I13 times 2. So we're on page 5. The counter is now up to 21. We need to find the I board. I think it might be right on top here. Yeah, because we've been working with the I board a lot. So there it is. So we need 2 I13s. And then we'll look as to how to put them in. But for now, let's just grab them. I didn't do a sound check, but I accidentally had the mic on at the beginning, so I guess that works as a sound check. There's I15. What does I13 look like? The funny thing is the way, this landscape way that I'm holding this board, this is how the writing is. The writing is similarly landscape. But am I holding it upside down? No, that's correct. That's I18. That's I8. Yeah. I mean, you can't really tell because I's and eights. This is like I9. It could be 6I, but it's I9, right? But it could be inside out, but it's not. The I8 could have been, I suppose. I don't know. Anyway, the board we're looking for is I13. I3 is a tiny piece. There's I12. I14, I15, I16. Did we already assemble the I13s? In which case I have to lower the counter 2 pieces. Yeah, we did. The I13s are already here. Oh man, that looks blurry as hell. I don't know why that looks so blurry. I also don't remember where I saw okay, when the piece is out, you can see it says I13. If you can get it clear. Yeah, there we go. So I13. You can't see it when it's in there. Alright, so let's move the counter back 2 pieces because we already did I13. And I guess we're back to the drawing board here. So we are, in fact, going to the second section. There's a lot of pieces here. B3, B7 times 2, B9, B10, B15, F1 times 8. I mean, I need like a calculator here. All right. We're going to grab all these pieces. As crazy as that sounds. All right, so there's a times 2 and a times 8, so that's 10. And then we just got to count up the other pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 16 pieces. So we have 19 pieces so far, and we're about to add 16 pieces to that. So what is that, 35? But that's crazy. We were going from 19 to 35 in a second. So we do have one piece from the I board, and that's I8. We have a lot of pieces from the B board and the F board. So I8 is here. It's actually kind of an epic piece, this I8. Don't worry about that. That was off camera. Basically, I'll just show you. So this like camera over here, it points, in order to not have to zoom like crazy and to not have to reach down to the floor, it's sitting on a box. So long story short, what normally would be sitting on that box in a different location just fell on the floor. Doesn't really matter. Anyway. This is I8. That's all that matters for now. Alright. Now, we need B, F, and K. Let's see if we have any of those boards here. That 8th board is C. The quarter board is A. This piece fell out, but it looks like a copy of this piece. And by the way, this is the B board. So let's get to work here. B3. No, that's B13. All right, here's B3. Let me get my little tool for popping pieces out. All right, B3. B7 times 2. There are 2 B7s. They look a lot like B3, by the way. Or whatever that tells you. By the way, here's another C board. So there's 2 C boards. A half-size board and an size board. All right, we also need B9 and B10. And these are interesting pieces. B9 and B10. They're like art pieces. They're full of ink. And they probably mean something. I don't know yet what. Alright, the one that looks like it has a drum. Is it a band? Alright, and the other one is... This B10 looks like it has a drum. What does B9 look like? I can't even tell you. What is that guy holding? Oh, like some sort... Yeah, this is definitely a band. That guy's like playing... what instrument is that? Trumpet or saxophone? Oh, no, it's not a saxophone. And I'm not sure if it's a trumpet. It's something. It's some type of brass. I don't know which type. Sorry. Alright, so that's B9 and 10. And now we need B15. Is that going to be another artistic piece? There's B14. It's like a... Oh, B15. Yeah, B15 is a crazy piece. Wait till you see this piece. It's not that crazy, I guess. But it's very artistic. What do we got going on here? Some sort of clown with star eyes. Is that... That's not... Yeah, those are holes. He's got holes for his nose and his mouth. Not sure where that's going to come into play, but... Alright, that was B15. So that's it for the B board. We also need F and K, so I'm just going to flip through and see if any of these half-size boards are F and K. This is D. And that's bottom one is... I don't know if that's a mixed board or... What is that? That's E, I think. I think I have it maybe upside down. Or, no. This is mixed pieces. Or maybe the pieces just have a lot of lettering. Basically, this is E. What is this piece? It looks like it's S, right? I'm not sure, but we'll recognize that piece whenever it's time to actually do it, because it's a very recognizable piece. So it looks like what we actually need here is board K and board F. That's what we really need. What is going on there? I'm not sure what I'm broadcasting right now. There's like something in the upper right. Oh, it's the box. It looked like it was like a picture in picture, but it was just a box. Alright, so we're still looking for the K board and the F board. Working with these big boards, it's slowing me down. They said this puzzle would take 12 hours, but you know, if you have to constantly look for boards, that's going to slow you down. And ROKR is not kind about sticking with one board at a time. Here's the F board, by the way. They'll often make you deal with several boards at once. As on this case, we're dealing with 4 boards. And that could be, you know, 4 boards are B, F, I, and K. They could give us more. And I think the piece from the K is actually a tool. So it's not even a piece of the puzzle. It's a tool piece. And I'm wondering if K is one of those bags. It might not even be a board. There's bags. You'll see when I get to it. Underneath all these boards, there's some bags, and K is probably a bag. Oh no, here's K. I was wrong. Look at that huge piece. That's probably the base of the pinball machine. I shouldn't make guesses like that because I'm usually wrong, but it looks like the base or the sub base, whatever you want to call it. All right, so here's the K board. I guess we're looking for K8, which is a K7, which is a tool. Wow. K7 does not want to leave. It's the K board. Well, that's going to need some sanding. It's breaking everything. It won't come out. Wow. Was I holding like 2 boards at once? What was the problem there? It shattered the whole board. Wouldn't come out. Yeah, this piece like would not let go of that K7. Alright, so the F board, we're looking for F1, and we need 8 of them. 8 F1s. F1 is this little piece here. Looking for that tool. So F1 is this little tiny piece here. Right in the corner. Where you'd expect F1 to be. Well, I guess we should have expected a small piece when they asked for 8 of them. Oh my goodness. Are they asking for 8 of these? I think they come apart. Wow. It's unclear what they mean by, like, are there 8 pieces here? Or are there 32 pieces here? I think there are 32 pieces here. I guess we'll see as we start putting it together. Tough to even find these little things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is if these are the pieces. They're so tiny. What's going on? These are the pieces. Tiny little guys, huh? That's it for the F board. Alright. We haven't put a piece together yet. We're 17 minutes into the broadcast. Okay. The first thing on the instructions is perspective tool. So K7 is a perspective tool. And it needs some serious sanding. That's why it wouldn't come out. Probably. That piece was attached to, there was like the connection was completely attached to this tool and completely attached to the board. So I broke the board taking it out. All right. 2 B7s and on the right and left, and B3 in the middle. All right, remember the circles on those boards? So the one with 3 goes in the middle, and the ones with 2 go on the ends. That's pretty easy. The weird thing is that the middle one has a circle, square, circle. And all of the pegs are, I don't know, they're not circles or squares. I guess it just doesn't matter. The connection could be a circle or a square. It wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think it's kind of a decorative piece anyway. Alright, let's put these pieces. The 2 B7s go on the outside. I'm not sure what even part of the... Can you tell by looking at the picture, like, what part are we building right now? Is it like the scoreboard? Is it the base? Is it the pinball machine? I have to study the picture to figure it out. I'm just going to put this picture on screen. I mean, on the table. And therefore, it's on screen from certain angles. Is it the side, the front, the back? Like, what are we building here? I think maybe it's the back of this, but I'm not sure. back of this? I don't know. Maybe. Whatever we're building right now, it's not visible. So probably it is the back of that thing. Because whatever it is, it's not visible in the picture. If they got some pictures from other angles, then maybe we'll be able to figure it out, but I don't know. It's kind of humid here. I have the window open. I had the window closed for the last 2 days because it was actively raining, but humid or not, we need some fresh oxygen in the room, so the window's open. All right, K7 F1. What? What are they trying to say? Why do I need to use the perspective tool? I think it's just a tool, and one of its functions is perspective. Okay, here's the tool. Oh, here's what we need. You see these notches? First of all, there's 2 wrenches. That's putting pins in. And here's that small piece that we're going to do. It's probably going to fit in there. So there's 8 of these F1s, 3 of these characters, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you think? Can you kind of see where this is going? We're going to use these pins to attach these characters to this board. I think so anyway. And somehow this tool is going to help us do that. It shows on the picture just using the bottom of it. But I feel like why not to use those notches? Anyway, let's use the bottom. So now the next question is which piece goes where? I could tell you the numbers, but I think it'd be easy if I tell you that the clown goes in the middle and the 2 brass players go on either side. Now, you notice I said 2 brass players. There's no drummer. I don't know what I did wrong, but there's no drummer. So we got to find the other brass player. And actually, we got to do it kind of like this. No, like this. This is correct. The brass. So the clown's in the middle, and the brass are pointing towards him. Towards the clown. So that stuff's all going to go on here. Kind of like this. And it's going to be secured by those pins. All right. So, do we put the pins first through the characters? Or first onto where they're going? Looks like through the characters. Let's try with this one. So there's a circle at top and a circle at bottom. So we'll put it through there. Wow. Well, that doesn't seem to want to go in. Let's try a bottom location. And let's try twisting it as it goes in. I don't know if that twisting is good or bad. Seems like bad. This tool is supposed to help get this piece in, I guess. Let's try that. That tool caused the piece to break. So that's now a broken piece. And we're not going to try that tool on the next one. Hopefully there's some extras to this piece, or are we going to have a problem? I think I'm going to use it maybe in reverse and push down on it. I'm going to shimmy it a little bit so it's not like really pushing that hard. All right, so there's a lot to do here in terms of getting all these pins in, so I should probably talk about the news, but I again don't know what's going on in the news today. Was there anything interesting in the news today? I don't know. While I get these pins in, let's bring up some news. Oh, that's not going to work. I need to go here. All right. Timcast, yeah, let's see. Read. All right, so be careful, mother effer. Ron Perlman shares, then deletes video threatening to destroy someone's home. I wonder what that's all about. Is Ron Perlman known for like being a criminal? Or was it like, is it just like a idle threat? Like, is that something that goes on in Hollywood? People like threaten to destroy each other's homes? Well, I feel like we have to click on that story and just find out what they're talking about. We know who said that and where he effing lives. Actor Ron Perlman comments follow current strike regarding Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television Radio Artists, the first joint strike of the two unions since the 60s. Critics of the union joining WGA noted the potential use of artificial intelligence to recreate actors' likeness without payment. Wow, that is pretty serious. Have you seen this? I know that currently the AI is really bad, or at least the AI they're willing to show us is really bad, but I mean, they've been able to recreate actors. I mean, when did Forrest Gump come out? Like 30, 40 years ago? Maybe it took more work back then, but nowadays they probably can do it much better. And yeah, I think that's an issue. Like an actor, I mean, first of all, an actor looks the part, has skill as an actor, and the looking the part is kind of like a luck kind of thing to an extent. I mean, I know you can change how you look, you can change your reputation somewhat, but somewhat of it is luck. I mean, Ron Perlman has like, he doesn't have like a leading actor sort of look. He has like a character actor sort of look, and that's the type of thing that you need in a movie so that you can recognize the character. If you see him in the beginning and then you're not gonna see him till the third act or something like that, you need to be able to recognize him. So one of the things that actor has going for them is their unique look. Now, if you're gonna scan that actor and use AI to like put him in movies where he's not getting paid for it, yeah, that sounds like an issue. I don't know if that's who they're threatening and that's what he did, but I don't know. I guess we have to look further into that, but all right. We'll read that in a second. We got the first piece here that's ready to go in. Let's see if it goes in. So, one of the Bugle Boys is now attached. So that worked. All right, while I'm doing the second one, let's read more. The Hellboy actor said there's lots of ways you lose your house, referencing a Deadline report. Deadline, that's a newspaper, report in which one unnamed studio and executive said the end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses, because I guess they would get more leverage. One more thing before I get off here, he said in a video. Oh, the Hellboy actor said that. Okay. Well, he's accusing the other side of that. Or he's saying that okay, Deadline said that. Deadline quoted the studio exec, and then the Hellboy actor referenced that. So then we go back to what the Hellboy actor said, Ron Perlman. He says, one more thing before I get off here. He said in a video, that mother effer who said we're going to keep things is going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, that MFer. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the F said that. Yeah, that's, interesting. I don't think it's really a threat. I think it's more of a just, do you think these things are even real? Like, I know that there's people on the bottom of the scale who care about, on the bottom of Hollywood, who care about the scale and things like that. But do you think Ron Perlman has any issues with not getting paid enough for his movies? I would imagine he gets paid plenty. But maybe he feels like he needs to make these comments so that the people who are working for scale and whatever the minimum is, so that they feel that he's like a good guy and on their side. And if that's the case, well, then the person in Hollywood doesn't really feel threatened because they know that Ron's not talking on behalf of himself. Basically it's like WWE. The guys talk and how they're going to do this and that, but nobody's really going to do anything because they're just trying to, in this case, trying to look good for the low-paid actors, and in the case of the WWE, they're just trying to promote a wrestling match, get people to tune in. So I wouldn't view that as a legitimate threat, but it is weird. People shouldn't say things that are, because if a regular person says it, they wouldn't get away with saying, everyone knows I'm not serious. Like a regular person wouldn't get away with that answer. So, like, why should the Hollywood actor get away with that? By the way, remember we broke one piece? I would assume that there's an extra, but this piece gets 4 pins, so I'm just going to do 3 pins. By the way, one of the pins is a nose. Remember the nose was see-through? So the nose is going to go right there. It's going to go on that pin. I could play that Ron Perlman clip, I suppose. It's like, what would happen if I played that? I'm not even sure if you would hear it. I'm just going to test and see if you did. I don't think you hear that. Let's see here. HDMI 2. Still don't hear it, huh?
Listen to me, motherfucker.
All right, now it's playing, I think.
There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial.
Let's rewind this.
The one thing, before I get off this. The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house.
All right, we had to... Hopefully you can't hear him anymore. Hopefully I stopped that, because if you don't stop it, then it's like a copyright strike, and now people can't see how this model is put together because I played too many seconds of Ron Perlman complaining about an actor strike. Yeah, I don't think Ron Perlman... I think that the top paid talent, like, they don't want the strike to last any longer, the same as the executives. It's really at the low end people. And I know that someone will say that that's not true, but it is true, because if you're a top end person, you can dictate the terms of your contract. It's really, you can already say whatever you want. I mean, when Tom Cruise shows up on the Mission Impossible set, nobody's pushing Tom Cruise around. He's agreeing to whatever his payment is. He's agreeing to, everything he needs while he's on set is there. He doesn't have any problems. It's really the people at the bottom of the pyramid that need some support, or that aren't happy with their deal. I think I'll use this broken one, because I think these things go in further than they need to. I'm going to use the broken one in the middle. It's like the least important place. Nah, I'm throwing the broken one out. It wasn't going in. I'm not going to sit there playing with it all day. Alright, so much for that story. What's the next story? Turning Point Action Conference attendees overwhelmingly support Trump over DeSantis. Yeah, I don't know what DeSantis' argument would even be. Like, I think he tried the argument that, like, Trump has 4 years left, I have 8 years left, and Trump was like, I can hit the ground running, he can't. It's like, it's kind of like when Walter Mondale said that his opponent was old, and Reagan said, I won't let my opponent's youth and inexperience, I won't use it as a factor against him in the election. Yeah, I mean, it's just a kind of a perspective thing. I think it's a really awkward position to even run against Trump, because I don't think anyone believes that Biden got 81 million votes. I guess you're left then wondering if Trump really got 75 million votes. It's like, I'll let you decide for yourself whether or not, you think the election was rigged or not. But I think a lot of people, probably like 70 million plus, think that Trump won that thing. If you're talking about legal votes, not people just dumping in as many ballots as they want, or as many ballots as they can, like, fill out or collect or steal or double vote or whatever. So I'm not up to date on what the people accuse Trump of. Maybe they have some reasons to pull votes off his total. So I'm not in a position to say what's the highest total. But I don't think for a second that Biden got 81 million. Legitimate. I don't think 81 million people legally voted for Biden. I don't think that happened. But again, you can decide for yourself what you think really did happen. But most of the voters, they think Trump was robbed. And not only do they think he was robbed, but he increased his vote total. So, like, for example, when Obama ran, he got a lower vote total the second time. When Trump ran the second time, he got a higher vote total. And if he runs again, he'll get a higher still. So this idea that basically Trump's the incumbent. I mean, people liked him. They wanted to vote for him a second time. I feel like when Obama ran a second time, a lot of people were weary. They were kind of like, it's almost like vote for him so he's not considered a one-term president. And a lot of the people who wanted to cheat against Trump, I think, were like, cheat against Trump so he's not a two-term president. Like, there's something really childish going on with the elections. And some people say, no, it's not childish. They want the power. They want the money. They want to be able to steal. They want to be able to teach crazy things in school. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a combination of things, but different motives to different people. So, like, Obama's motive might be that he wants to teach gender ideology to kindergartners or something like that. But a lot of the people who got behind, rigging for Biden, if such a thing happened, might have been motivated for other reasons, like they wanted to look good. Like they wanted Obama to look like Reagan, which I don't think is ever going to happen, but they definitely didn't want Trump to get a second term. All right, we're finally done with this section. That's all we did was add these 3 little characters. So we are really moving like slow today. Hopefully we can speed up. So is that everything? No, that's not everything. There's one more piece. And it's a pretty cool piece. It's I-8. All right, let's just refresh that we've done everything. So we added B7, 2 B7s and a B3. We added them at the bottom here. Actually on this. Where did we add them? Oh, okay. They're underneath the characters. They're underneath the 3 characters. We added those pieces there. And then I didn't get what we did with the F1. That didn't really work. But we definitely added these 3 characters to the front. And now this big piece known as I-8 is going to go on top of everything. So that's it. That's what we have to do. We have to get this on top of everything. The only connection it shows in the instructions is these two pieces connecting to these two slots. Maybe that's all that connects. Let's find out. We'll see whatever else lines up when we get them on. Am I putting this on backwards? No. That's correct. It's just not going on. It's not going on. All right, maybe like this with the pressure off it. Maybe like the pressure was making it difficult. Maybe upside down. Let's try upside down. See if that works. I think that's going to work. It's the only angle from which I can actually see what I'm doing. All right. That's kind of in. It needs to go down further, I think. Yeah, it shows a line on the instructions. And I assume that line means push down to that point, which is the bottom. This piece doesn't look like, or does it? Yeah, no, it does. It's fine. Okay. So nothing else connected? What do you think? I think nothing else connected. So it really was just those two pieces. All right, that's that. So let's move on to page 6. Finally. Well, at least we have our page online now on the screen. All right, so page 6, like the previous page, it's split in two. We need A10 times 4, A15 times 4, I3 times 2, and I14, sorry. That's 11 pieces. So this is going up to 46. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. We got 17 minutes to the hour, probably something like an hour. So A10, yeah, we added up, so now we're up to 46. And now we need A10 times 4, A15 times 4, I3. Okay, so just two boards, A and I. I think A was over here, right? A is the quarter size board. So A10, this is A10. So there's 4 of those, so we're just going to grab all of them. All 4 of the A10s. Down here. No, wait a second. There's 8 A10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think so, right? Or are these the A15s? You know what's missing from that little legend on the side is pictures of the pieces. I guess you got to scroll deeper to see what the pieces look like. So A15s, yeah, okay. So these are the A10s, these are the A15s. So there's 8 A10s, but we only need 4 of them. There's 6 A15s, but we need 4 of them. So there's 4 A10s. going to be tricky to get 4 of these A15s without accidentally getting more than 4. All right, we did it. 4 of them. All right, now we need the I board. How about we call it the I sheet? Well, I guess if I say I board, it's not that bad because we're claiming that the point of this show is for people to fall asleep. So maybe it's not that bad to say I board, but I think I'm going to call it the I sheet. I just don't like calling it I board. All right, this is H, G. I can't even find the I sheet. I like lost it. Every time I pick up a sheet, I'm knocking a piece out. Did I seriously put the I board on the bottom? No, I never went lower than that full-size board. So, this is J. The full-size one is L, by the way. And somewhere here I have the I board, but I don't see it. There's G. There's K. Hope everyone's having fun watching me count boards. Here's I. We found the I board. Most of us found the I board when we turned on this broadcast. Alright. I 3 times 2. And then I 14. I 14 is halfway out already. We've used... Oh, that's I 4. Oh my goodness. And that was an I 14. Here's I 14. I 14 is actually a huge piece that we have to somehow get out without accidentally breaking it. It like goes the length of this sheet. Or is it the width of this sheet? It goes the width of this sheet. And it has a lot of stuff that's like inside of it that's probably going to fall out when I push I-14 out. Did I ever turn off the microphone on 2? No, I didn't. Hopefully my iPad wasn't making weird sounds. Oh, you know what? I had the microphone off at the A10 Mini, even though it wasn't off. I had the A10 Mini. The YOLO box had the volume from HDMI 2, but HDMI 2 is the output of the A10 Mini 2. And I had different on-off volumes for each input. And the input from the iPad I have to off. So basically, since I did that, you shouldn't hear any sound. Though I did still have it on. The sound was on at the YOLO box. Do we still have my voice? Okay, we do. Alright, I3 times 2. So I3 is this piece. There's 4 of them. We need 2 of them. We have to get them out without accidentally knocking the other 2 out. Well, I was going for the top 2, but I got the side 2. Alright, so what? Which I've lost track. Okay. Alright, A10 times 4. A15 times 4. I3 times 2. And this monstrosity is I14. Now, what are we going to do with all this stuff? Alright, we're going to use 2 I3s. And we're going to connect them into this, what is this, I14? And then we're going to connect the I14 onto this. And the 2 I3s are going to go in like vertical, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if there's something else that's going to attach to it. There is probably, because there are more tabs on the top of this piece. There's 2 more tabs. The I3 doesn't come out the back, but maybe something's going to hook on the front. And it's worth mentioning that I'm putting the pieces into the inked side. Yeah, like one side of the piece has ink on it, and that's where I'm putting the I3s. The other side does not have ink. So we're putting the I3s into the inked side. If I can get it in. Okay. All right. That's in now. This whole piece is going to go on top of this whole piece. So this is a very high section of the You know what? This is not, no, it's not a high section. It has to pass through. There's a slot here, and there's an insert, like, receiver there. So this thing is going to slide through 2, and it's going to tab down at the bottom. So actually, it's not going to increase the height. It's just framing up these characters a little bit. What would be good, just getting back to those actors, making the AI versions of the actors, is you can go back later and make corrections. You know, like how Lucas would go back and redo the Star Wars. Like, he could do that because Star Wars was a big movie, and he was doing CGI for most of the updates. But if you've got the scan actor and the voice emulator and all that stuff, you can go back and make corrections whenever you want. That would be a new thing that you can do. Would you want to do that? You know, I don't know. You could, though. You could do it much cheaper. You don't need to be Star Wars to do that.
I still can't sign on.
The work study? Yeah, the lady emailed and said mostly you'll get apply for the jobs once you get there. But I still think we should check it every day, because you never know. Thanks. Oh, I'm building a 3D. I'm building a 3D pinball, but check out this. I'm gonna switch to this iPad camera for a minute, and then I'm gonna switch to this and ask you a question. What are you looking at that now? This camera, this box on the.
Oh.
This thing is so big that it didn't fit on the desk. I had to add a camera, or basically just redirect the Wheel of Fortune camera down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also scanned see this book here? I scanned it. This is all my work. Like, if you look closely here, you can see the edges of the pages because I scanned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Good luck with that.
Thanks. Thank you. All right, let's get these tabs in here. I think all I got to do is line them up and push them in, but it's tough to line them up from that distance. So my son's going to be on a college campus, and at this point it's maybe like 5 weeks. And one of the things I told him to do is the work study. First of all, to have cash in his pocket. Second, to get work experience. And third, just to guarantee that you know some people. I mean, you got a job, then you're going to know some people. Or I guess I'm sure he'll meet plenty of people at college. But anyway, it's like just a guarantee that you at least meet some people in some real way. Like if you're coworkers, you know, like if you're teammates, if you're coworkers. I mean, you like to have people sort of rely on you, rely on each other. It helps, I think. So these pieces, what are these called? These A10s are going to go through these A15s, and then they're going to attach to these holes at the top. So they're just decorative, really. Just like right there. Right there. Just decorative again. But anyway, we'll do it. I mean, isn't it all... I mean, when you're not doing gears, it's all kind of decorative. Well, some of it could be, you know, the structural integrity of the build. But a lot of it's decorative. It's a hobby, right? I mean, we could have just bought a mini pinball machine. We've chosen to build it as a model. Type of people we are. Would you build your own house? I remember when I was in college, I was staying at this place that was my parents' it was like a place that my dad had when he worked up there. But then, and that's when I started staying there, but then he got sick and he wasn't working there, and then I was just staying there by myself. And it was a place where a lot of people build summer homes, though I was staying there while going to college, and there was a guy who was building his own home. And I would drive by. It actually was out of the way for me to drive by, but I would drive by out of curiosity. And you would often see him there, at night, working on his house. I mean, it was, I was worried for a while. There used to be a cartoon when I was a kid. Where it was, I forget if it was a dog character. I think it was. And he would always try to do, home repairs himself. And then he would mess up, and it would end up, costing a lot of money. So somehow I was probably brainwashed by that cartoon to think that if you DIY a project, you're going to mess up and waste a ton of money and wish you'd called a professional, which I agree, basically. But if you can do it yourself, if you are a professional, which I guess this guy was, he built his own house and he did a good job. I mean, it took him longer probably than if he'd hired someone. You know, I'm not even sure about that, because sometimes when you hire people, it still takes a while. So maybe he even did it faster. Anyway, this guy built his house, and I used to see it. I was almost wanted to talk to him the first time and discourage him, because I was thinking that he's going to mess up so badly and lose his life savings. I was really worried, but he ended up doing a great job, and maybe that was the first eye-opener to me that people should do stuff. Not just sit around and wait for other people to do it. I mean, this guy made his own house with his own hands, and it worked out great. He had one of the better houses because of that. And also, you get to pick what goes into it, because sometimes when someone else builds your house, they use builder grade materials, and it can cause you problems later on. You wish, I wish I'd known I would have delivered the right materials to have them build with the good materials. If you ever have a home built, deliver all the materials you possibly can yourself and insist that they use them, because if you don't, they're probably going to use builder grade materials and you're going to be unhappy with it. All right. At the bottom now of page 6. Are we still on page 6? Yep, page 6 it is. So now we're at the bottom of page 6. We got a different list of pieces. 3 different boards. B20, G2 and 4, I12. So we got to find 4 boards. It's like a pain in the ass to find these boards. We got to find 3 boards to get 4 pieces. So we're up to 50 pieces now. All right, so B, where's the B sheet? Let's find the B sheet. This 1/8 of a board is C. There's some more C. What? No. There's the more C. This is B. I'm holding B in my hand. Anyway, there is 2 C sheets, but this isn't one of them. This is B. So we're here just for 1 piece, B20. B11 is a star. B18 is the ROKR sign. These tabs that there's 6 of. Those are B19s. B20 is actually a pretty huge piece. Here it is. Alright. We may just do this last page for today, and then we'll pick up tomorrow. Hopefully it moves faster tomorrow. Alright, so that's B20. Now we need I12. I believe we have the I sheet here, right here. I14, I11. Where is I12? I10, another I11. Okay, here's I12. So we're working with big pieces in this section. This is another big piece. Unfortunately, it's going to take out, look at that, I11 and I10. Those pieces are now like in there. On the other hand, we're almost done with the I sheet. These pieces are like stuck in here. So now no longer part of the I board. They're just part of some random sheets. So this is I12. And now we need the G sheet for G2 and G4. I don't remember where's the G sheet. That's M and D. Alright, so G is somewhere in this box. I, H. There's another piece that fell on the floor. This is, what is this piece? H. It's an H piece. Alright, F. Where's the G sheet? K. It's that board we messed up. I found the G sheet. So 2 and 4. Okay. G2? They only want one G2? There's 2 of them, but they only want 1 of them. My goodness, if I can get that piece out. It's like stuck there. Only punched it halfway out. There's G2. And G4 is another big piece. So three big pieces in this little plus sign. Come on. 3 like huge pieces and this little plus sign. That's the 4 pieces. And we're going to deal with that plus sign right away. It's going to go on the inked side of B20. So B20, right? I12, G3 and 4. Alright, so yeah. No, G2 and 4. Alright, so G2 is a little plus sign. It's going to go into the inked side of B20. I think it goes in like, I'm not sure how that goes in. Let's look at it. Okay. It goes in kind of like, you could twist it if you wanted to, but you shouldn't. So let's call that like perpendicular, because when you look at it from here, from the top, if you look at B20 from the top, you see like a T shape sticking out, and that's G3, I think it was called. And then G4 is going to go on top of that. You see this like wagon wheel here? It goes on top of that. So that's like basically the point of that little piece, is to connect these 2 pieces together. G3. The point of G3 is to connect G4 to B20. Alright. And then all of that has to connect. This I12 goes on top of that. I'm not sure how it goes on top of that. Oh, okay. I'll show you how. You see these 2 slits here? They correspond to these 2 slits. And then once we get those on, then we should be able to identify on the other side two other pieces to connect. Okay. They're in. All right. So yes, on the other side, there absolutely are two other pieces to connect. Okay. Did I put this piece on upside down? Does it matter? I don't think it matters. Hopefully I did it right. I'm not really sure. All right, now. Oh, that's it. That's the end of page 6. It just sits there like that. I thought it would connect to this thing. Let's look at page 7 and see if it's going to connect to what we built. It is. That's the first instruction on page 7, is to connect that to the top of this. So I think let's do that just so we can have it, all together as one piece when we start tomorrow. So the connections are here. See these like 2 tabs? Those are the connections. Actually, they go in 2 different ways. It goes like backwards. So like you can see these characters here, but the ink side of this is going the other way because there's actually 4 connections. So this existing piece, excuse me, has 2 tabs at the top and 2 slits at the bottom. And this piece has 2 tabs at the front and 2 slits at the back. So it's actually 4 connections that it's going to make. And there's the 2 in the back. If I can get them lined up. So far not. How did the front line up and the back won't? That's crazy. All right. Are there any other connections on the sides? I don't think so. I think it's just those 4 connections. Anyway, we'll study this more tomorrow. So it's interesting. We're decorating both sides of this. Can we tell yet which side we're looking at? Yes, we can. I'll show you. See this wagon wheel here? If you look on this picture, there's a little wagon wheel here. And that's this wagon wheel here is this wagon wheel here. Which means that this whole section here, it's the pinball table. And then we're just starting building what's going to go above that. So this is like going to be pretty tall. We haven't even begun yet. This is all the inner guts of the pinball machine. I'm John Rapp. This is Just Rest Your Eyes. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow.